I booted up the game to obviously continue on with this crazy chapter that we're in right now, this crazy trial that we're about to head towards. And what's crazy is that, like, I got that feeling that I get when I play Ace Attorney sometimes, where you know stuff is happening that's like super, super serious. And this time, as we said, it's so personal that when I booted it up, I just like instantly, I was like, you know, in the kind of like preparing mode, and then you hear the music, you see Athena, and I was just like, oh my God. I like jumped right back into the emotions of this case so far. Hello, BB Gangsters, this is Calvin, also known as Ormer, and this is my first ever playthrough of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. And like I said, the emotions are there. And it's honestly really interesting because it's the same as, I feel like, you know, if I look back on like my favorite Ace Attorney game, which is Trials and Tribulations, or even like you look at Apollo Justice as well, like, you can look at all those games, but like there's a feeling when you get into the last trial that is usually like, okay, here we go. Here it comes. Yeah. I don't remember exactly, so I think we're going to the royal residence, and then maybe we'll try and go to Amara's tomb, maybe, to look at things. But can we examine things now after everything that's happened? Because I think it might be a good idea, right? Somebody got a little carried away decorating this place. There's a golden lion keeping watch at the entrance. I think it looks really pretty. That frog looks like it's cowering under a lion's glare. Really? Because to me, it looks like the frog is glaring at the lion. Come on, Athena, how does that make any sense? Huh? I just call him as I see him. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. So he thinks this is over. I guess you could say over decorated, but like that's kind of like a I think that, like, again, not just in like their culture, but like again in many like ancient cultures, this was like a thing where like the more gold, the more fancy, the more gilded, the better it looks. Nowadays, like, you know, rich people have, you know, plain white, nothing there type of stuff, which again, to me, like, I never like. I don't like the very minimalist, just pure white stuff. But it was very different. And I think obviously, like, you know, you could say, well, Calvin, this is still modern times, 100%, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is based on their cultural stuff from their history, you know, 100%. This overturned urn has spilled water everywhere. Everything around it is soaking wet. Don't look at me. Rightly or wrongly, I'm guessing Athena's the type that gets blamed for a lot of things. Yeah, probably. I think Athena's the type of person that when she was a kid, her, like, brother is, like, you know, pinching her, hitting her, and then she hits back, and then that's when the parents see something. She gets that vibe from me. You know what I mean? She gets that vibe. And the more people accuse her, the more defensive she becomes. Even to the point of preemptively denying any wrongdoing. That is probably something very psychological. That means people blamed her for a lot of stuff. That's very sad. I said it wasn't me. I believe you. I never said it was. I believe you 100%. The footprints here as well. Are these Ignis footprints? They appear to be heading towards the tomb. Didn't Princess Raven mention something about that? You know, something about him rushing over to the tomb before we arrived? I wonder if he had accidentally dozed off before he did the exchange or something. That's a very interesting theory to think you would doze off in that situation. But again, like, you know, it happens, I guess. It happens. Then we have... Oh, look at those flowers. They are pretty. They give the whole house such a cute vibe. I love hanging flowers. I really do. I wonder if this is where Princess Rafa lives. I doubt it. She doesn't look like the type to decorate with cute flowers. I mean, I may not know her well, but she seems awfully serious and snobby. I bet she uses nothing but roses and peonies, stuff old people flowers, you know? You think so? Apollo? I guess it's too much to ask that you not judge a book by its cover, huh? What's that supposed to mean? Well, what she's saying is, because you were like, you basically said, I wonder if there's where Raven lives. I doubt it. She doesn't look like the type. And she said, yeah, I wonder if Raven lives. And then you were like, okay, the flowers, like, this looks like, yeah, she wouldn't decorate with cute flowers. But I think what Athena's saying is something that we've kind of realized as well, is that she is a character who may on the surface be very serious and snobby, but she's a kid who has clearly been brought up this way. But we have seen the best of Rafa as well, you know. And again, I talk about like the one thing when she was like so curious, like legitimately about the stuff that with forensic science and stuff, I guess too. It's like we saw the real Rafa, It was like, oh my god, like that's who she should be. She should be curious about this stuff. She should be allowed to talk about this stuff, you know? But Athena's always like, I think it's very cool to have like the conversation about Athena getting judged for a lot of stuff, and then like right afterwards, Athena being like, don't judge Rafa by the cover, you know? Maybe some relatability there. Violet lotus flowers floating on the still waters. Butterflies dancing about. It's almost supernatural in its beauty. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And the center of it all rises to the tomb where Amara's soul slumber. It makes you wonder if that bridge is a gateway to hereafter. Yeah, especially after both Dirk and Igna crossed that bridge earlier. So is that... Oh, there's something here? Somebody got a little carried... Oh, we've already looked at this. There's a golden lion keep watching the entrance. That frog looks like it's cowering under the lion's glare. Igna, I thought we already clicked on this though, right? Huh? Yeah, we did. Maybe you have to click on it twice for some reason? Who knows? The palace of Queen Garan is built to impress. Its white walls and gold ornaments lend it to an imposing air. Yeah, it is. And it looks like it's almost up in the clouds, even though like it's just our perspective, right? It makes Minister Igna's residents look downright humble by comparison, I guess. Yeah, it shows the difference in their tastes. And which one wears the pants, so to speak. So that expression usually says who's in control of the relationship, I suppose. And it would be very crazy to me. Igna, I think, probably thought he was like the person who was like kind of like the one in control of this place, but Garan clearly like, you know, has executive decisions on everything in terms of like the hierarchy of Karain. Yeah, for sure. The previous queen, Amara, was laid to rest in her own private tomb. Pretty impressive. They say it cost them 800 million to build and took 400... Dirt. Like, come on. Now, here's the thing. Actually, I want to say this right now, okay? If the workers all got paid really, really well and they got steady work for 5 years, like a construction workers, if you tell a construction worker you get steady work for 5 years, they're going to be like, holy hell, yes. You know, yes, 100%. But if it's a situation where like the workers were just like, you know, build the queen's palace, build the queen's tomb, then it's different, of course. And you might be like, Cal, what are you basing this on? I'm basing it on the fact that there's like a lot of poverty in Karain, and there's a lot of people, there's a 9-year-old who has to work like 2 jobs. And again, it's not their fault that people who have to work 2 jobs that there's poverty. It's obviously there's an imbalance in, and this happens in most countries, and we're not just saying Karain, where there's an imbalance in like the way money is distributed and the way wealth is distributed. And you see here, like there's a reason why they have Igna encrusted in jewels and everything he has is so fancy, in comparison to poor Albie, who is just trying to get through day by day. But I'd take Albie any day as a buddy than Igna, you know. That's the only thing I base it on. It's like maybe like, you know, as long as these workers got paid well, it's fine. Now I'm also against building monuments to anybody and building tombs for anybody for 800 million, which you could use the 800 million to give it to the people of Karain. You know what I mean? Give it to the people of Karain who are suffering. There's a kid who's working a tour guide job. He's 9. So special memorial rites were also conducted at various points of its construction. That's quite an undertaking. It was built with donations from our devoted It was donations and... Okay, so it wasn't like tax money, but it was donations and royal from royal neighboring countries? So it was from the people and neighboring countries. I still think like a lot of this money should have gone to the people. It ended up giving a huge boost to national... There we go. Okay, then who am I to say anything? You know what I mean? This happens all the time where I'll say something like, you know, without, based on the context that we have so far in the world, but then like they're like, no, well, this is different. If it did boost the economy and it did actually help people in the end, then I'm totally cool with that, 100%. But I always just think if there's extra money, you should give it to the people of Karain. Oh, Queen Amara must one charismatic lady. That's the thing, it showcases how much people cared about her 100%. And I guess like it's one of those situations where Queen Amara is different from Queen Garan. The way that we see her now, she was, you know, the wife of Dirk, and apparently she was very loved by him too. But yeah, like I think what I was trying to say there was just like, if you have an extra hundreds of millions, probably give it directly to the people and put back into the people. But if this did help the economy in some way, and help the economy in a way that like actually got people more money, I can't really complain too much. You know what I mean? It's like the way that like if someone creates this, but here's the thing, 800 million to make 800 million back in tourism, would Karain do that? Who knows? But again, it wasn't their money, I guess. But then it was still like the people's money. I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff there. You guys know my feelings on that. If it did help out, that's cool. If it didn't help out, then that sucks. That's all I'll say. May 18th, Ganan Palace, Amara's tomb. This is the tomb of Amara, the previous queen of Karain. So does that mean they have to spend another 800 million to build another tomb for Ganan if she dies? It's really lavish. I guess you could say it fits fit for a queen. This one, I just never liked the idea of like spending so much money on burying one person, you know? Is the faceless woman in the mural over there Amara? No, that's the Holy Mother. She's the one who brought the spirit channeling to Karain. Alright, the woman in the orb. Oh, it's you two, getting right down to business, is it Emma? Yes. Hi Emma. We heard you give us a hand if you needed it. Yep, Mr. Edward asked me to help you where I could. That's so great having Edward's permission to just do all this stuff. So it's been quite a while since you've been back in Karina here. Yeah, more than 10 years in fact. Still so crazy. Well, you sure didn't waste any time. I mean, you're already mixed up in a murder. You're as big as a trouble magnet as Mr. Wright. Please don't say that. My luck's already bad enough as it is. Emma, I hear Prosecutor Samadi has requested your services again. He seems to have taken a liking to you. You mean His Imperial Holiness? Again, he values her a lot, but she gets so nervous when talking about this because again, he works her to the bone. I don't mind that he approves of me and my abilities. It's just his people skills need some serious work. I agree 110%. When he manages to smile and competence and work, it's hard to say no. See, that's the thing. It's like Nayuta's good at his job and he's very efficient. So like, I can imagine like getting some praise from like a very like high-ranking prosecutor does feel good. You know what I mean? Plus, working on investigations overseas is priceless experience, but flying back and forth between here and every home every few days with no days off, that's been tough, and the lack of sleep has been brutal on my skin. To make matters worse, the defendant in this case is someone I know. I mean, how could it get any worse? She is definitely panicking about this too. You can't underestimate how important sleep is. I've talked about it before, but yeah, it's so important. It sounds like they got one complicated prosecutor-detective relation going on. I've talked about it before, but like literally, like if you, again, I'm still very young, but I remember when I was like 18 to like 22, for example, like I could stay up all night for like a day and just I could stay up for 24 hours and just not feel that bad. You know what I mean? And still do stuff. I could sleep for 2 hours and be okay. But like I feel like even like as you get like towards your 30s and stuff like that, and maybe, you know, people who are like over 30 are gonna be like, Calvin, shut up. Calvin, shut up. Like, you're not old. But like, you know, when you're in like your mid-20s and then heading towards the end of your 20s, I feel like there's a thing for me now where it's like, I feel like if I get 5 hours sleep now, I do feel it compared to when I get a full night's sleep. I feel it now. You know what I mean? And maybe like it's like I still felt it when I was like much younger, but like I feel like when you're younger, you just kind of power through it a lot more better, you know, to me anyway. Sleep is very important. It's so important. It's so underrated. Let's talk to Emma, the incident. And Emma's a great person and she's really fantastic and she's really hardworking. Again, what she says as well, you know, for me, I would like find it so stressful to keep traveling overseas, but for her, she's like, I'm getting these probably paid. It's paid for her to come over here. She gets a paid trip over here. She gets this experience in another country. And then she flies back. Like, while like it would be very tiring, 100%, she still is saying this is experience, which is really cool. Emma, have you determined the cause of death? Blood loss from a stab wound. So it is a stab wound. A single stab in the back was enough to cause the victim to bleed to death. The estimated time of death is 3 p.m., which is when Dirk came onto the scene. So stab from behind, cause of death is blood loss, time of death approximately 3 p.m. Any suspects besides Dirk? No, Maya and the minister were only ones here. And Maya had been tied up until she was freed by the Royal Queen's Guard. Could someone have been hiding somewhere in here? Not likely. I was told this tomb was searched from top to bottom right after the murder. And during that time, the Royal Guard set up a perimeter to prevent anyone from escaping. In other words, the crime scene was completely sealed off? It would appear so. No way for a third party to escape without being spotted, so. Great. It's another one of those convoluted locked room mysteries. Exactly. And again, my theory is it still has something to do with something that happened here that made him feel dizzy and made Maya pass out. Because originally I thought Maya was just exhausted, but I think it has something to do with that. But you never know with these situations, and especially in Ace Attorney, we might find out that in this room there's someone painted themselves blue and hung on the drapes. You know what I mean? You never know. So, stab wound, blood loss, and no one else was here, and the perimeter was really locked down. The victim. About the victim, Minister Igna. He was the kingdom's minister for justice, correct? Yes, Igna Karakul Karain was the second most powerful figure in Karain. Plus, he was married to the queen. Seems strange that someone of his status would abduct someone. Apparently, he only told a few of his most loyal subordinates about his plan. That way, there was a little chance of the police or even the queen finding out, but she definitely did find out. That's crazy as well, because obviously, like, he is able to get away with so much, right? He's gotten away with so much, but even he can't get away with, like, a direct kidnapping. And I shouldn't say I love that. I'm saying it's a good thing, because I think it makes the game more realistic, because if he just, like, kidnapped someone and people saw him kidnapping someone and he held someone hostage, and then he was able to brush it under the rug, I think it would be like, because again, even with corrupt cops, like say a corrupt cop in a movie, they can brush things under the rug, but if someone catches them in the act doing something and everyone sees and everyone knows about it, they're done, right? It's over. But yeah, it makes the game feel way more realistic that he could still be caught out for somebody, even though at one point it felt like he was all powerful, you know? What was Igna hoping to gain by getting his hands on the orb? That I don't know, but I'm working on it. I wonder if it really was for Paul Addison Wimberson, for what Paul Addison Wimberson said. I never thought we'd see him again. I must deliver to my benefactor raw course. What do they want the relic for anyway? It's something to do with an old legend. My patron seeks the great power said to be granted to whoever solves its secret. So he wants the ancient power, or he wanted the ancient power, I should say. A great power that's said to bestow it upon whoever solves the orb's secret. In Karain, only those who can channel spirits are said to be fit to rule. Was that why Ignorance wanted such power? Did he want to be king? Interesting. So, like, the idea that if he was able to channel powers and gain that power, then he would be the one that would be, like, you know, everyone had to witness as the king, I guess. Okay, that kind of shows a motive of why he would want the orb, Amara's tomb. So this is the tomb of the previous queen, who I generally badmouthed, but I didn't badmouth her. I badmouthed, like, you know, corrupt regimes, I guess. Yes, Queen Amara was laid to rest here. She lost her life in an arsonist's blaze. Terrible. What a tragic end. I heard this tomb sits on a natural site of her residence before it was burned down. They built it on the same spot so her soul could rest in peace. Interesting. So they obviously, you know, value that idea of laying someone where they died, I guess, in at least the queen where she died, in the spot that she was killed. So this is where the fire happened, huh? Why do you think Mr. Igna was holding Miss Faye captive here? It was the perfect spot if you think about it. It's close to his private quarters, which made it easy to keep an eye on his prisoner. And the courtyard is only open to the royal family, so he had little fear of prying eyes. Okay, so there's some like real thought put into this. Plus, the tomb is normally locked, and only the royal family is allowed to access. So that's why he picked this place. How long had Miss Faye been held captive? About 6 days. Jesus frick. It's already, like, 1 hour would be bad enough. You know what I mean? The trauma that this would bring anybody. 6 days. Like, and the thing is, like, not to be such a downer, but it's not just like, you know, they were held captive and that's kind of upsetting. You're talking about 6 days of thinking, am I going to die? You're talking about 6 days of thinking, what's he going to do next? You're talking about 6 days of thinking, is anyone going to come save me? You're talking about 6 days of all these feelings that would make you exhausted, that would destroy your mind. You'd never get over it. Really? That long? It appears that she was severely weakened by her prolonged confinement. She passed out as soon as she was freed, and is now in an IV drip in a hospital. Oh, Maya. She's been asleep ever since. Absolutely horrid. Poor Miss May, I hope she gets better soon. Like, it always happens to, like, the nicest people in the world, too. I mean, do you mind if we start looking around? Sure, I've already got the okay. Knock yourselves out. Oh, and, here. What's the layout? There's one statue that looks different, right? It's a diagram the police drew of the tomb. I thought I'd give you a copy and help your investigation. Thank you. Tomb diagram added to the court record. Love those glasses. And let me know if you need my forensic expertise. Don't you dare keep all the fun to yourselves, you hear? You don't need to worry about that. Besides, I'd hardly classify this as fun. Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's like, you know, from Emma's perspective, like, this is fun. You know what I mean? This is her passion. For us, like, being in the courtroom is our passion, but like now, and obviously this job is our passion. But now we also have to deal with the fact that, again, as this is very incredibly personal. So I saw like one of the statues like broken or something. Oh, look at the blood stain. Is one of the statues, yeah, one of the statues is broken. Okay. So let's just start in the first frame then, look at everything. I know we also have to go find that book for our dad as well. So let's start just by looking at everything. So this is Amara's sarcophagus. Let's take a closer look. Are we opening the curtains? Hey, these curtains open, Apollo. Oh, we are? Okay. And there's a key here as well. Or a lock, I should say. Or keyhole. That's one big sarcophagus. They say that the mummy of Amara, the former queen, rests inside. A mummy, huh? Rats, it's locked. Hey, don't touch that. You mean we can't search inside? Not a chance. Besides, it's not something anyone could anyone try opening anyway. What if the real killer's hiding inside? Hey, anyone in there? Athena, oh my god. No, I'm sorry, she's hilarious. Knocking on a sarcophagus door, asking if anyone's in there. No, I'm sorry, she's hilarious. Don't do that, you're gonna get his curse. Only Athena could like knock on it. I don't know, she's so funny. That's hilarious, I don't care what anyone says. Cursed? The queen likely bears a grudge towards the living after such a violent, painful death. So no one dares touch the sarcophagus for fear of incurring a wrath. Oh no, Apollo, what am I gonna do? It's okay, it's okay. I generally think that like, you know, I don't believe in curses personally, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I tell him you'll be fine. Don't look at me. Apollo's like, instead of like covering her, he's like, hey, it's your curse. In any case, the sarcophagus is temperature controlled. It's kept really cold to preserve the mummy. Oh my god. Emma looks awesome here. She's such a great design. The pink glasses are such an inspired choice. So even if someone did decide to hide inside it, they would eventually freeze to death. Oh, okay. Apollo's very much like hanging on this, so I guess this could be a big thing. If they bundled up, I bet a person could hide in there a little while. Are we adding that to the court record, or is that something we have to add to the court record? Okay, so we keep in mind that someone could hide in here if they bundled up. They'd have to bundle up like crazy though, right? They'd have to bundle up like crazy. So we looked inside here. Let's go inch by inch here and let's take a look at this here. Look, one of the statues is broken. Yeah, but it's kind of hard to see from here. Let's check it out when we get a little closer. Okay, that's fine. So I'm just trying to make sure we check out everything for sure in the first frame, you know what I mean? It's easier that way for me. There's a painting up there, but I can't see it very well from here. So everything, I think they want us to look head on. They want us to look head on at everything. Yeah. It looks like the Holy Mother was painted here to watch over Mara's sarcophagus. So it's like the tomb is protected by the founder? That must be so reassuring to those she left behind. Only one problem, they didn't paint the eyes. She needs to do the said watching. Come to think of it, she doesn't have a mouth to smile down at the tomb either. Tomb with either. Yeah, they obviously we know about the history, the idea of Crane that you don't show the Holy Mother's face. But yeah, I think it's an interesting concept though, like having like, you know, I think it's like one of the reasons why churches probably have like, you know, the stained glass windows with like, but then again, I feel like the stained glass windows sometimes are like, are not, it depends on the church. Cause I think sometimes, I remember the church I used to go to had these like pictures on the wall of like Jesus getting crucified. And like, it's funny cause like it had like the opposite effect where like, I think all of us as kids, instead of being like, oh my God, what the hell? It was more just like, why are they doing this? And like, it didn't like, because again, at that point when we were all kids, we were playing, you know, games like GTA and stuff, I guess too. Like, so like you're kind of desensitized already to like, I know like, you know, someone who's probably Christian is like, well, that's different. But like to a kid, it's like, you know, whatever. Like we didn't think of it that way. We were just like, oh, this is like just more violence, in a way. Something she doesn't have a mouth, and yeah, it's actually kind of creepy. I wonder if being watched over by someone like that gives the queen nightmares. I don't know. I mean, like, to me, like, I couldn't. I don't know how people can do that. You know, in like those horror movies where they have the big pictures in the walls? Like, to me, like, even those things are kind of creepy. Like the big paintings. Hey, keep it up and the founder just might come and watch over you too. I love Apollo and Athena's relationship because it's a lot of like very sibling energy of like bickering all the time and like, you know, poking fun at each other. But I think it's more Apollo like playing up like Athena's fears here. But it's very charming and very funny. What's this? It's full of ash. They must burn incense in here. So I was wondering, Apollo, did the ash come from the incense sticks that were burnt in this? Or did people put their incense in after there was already ash in there, here to hold them up? Don't be silly, Athena. The answer's simple. The ash is a product of prayers from the countless visitors who came here. It's not a chicken or egg kind of thing. Oh, that's interesting. Take on it. It's so much more poetic than mine. Athena, like, your insight is just as good. Do not worry about it whatsoever. Yeah, but I totally get what Athena's saying, though, as well, though. It's like, the question you would have is, like, did they put ash here to, like, lay a foundation? Or, like, was ash... That's what she was saying, right? It's like, did the ash come from the incense sticks that burned over the people in their incense? Yeah, like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I would think that, too. It's like, do people put, like, a layer of ash in here first to, like, lay a foundation for the other ash? I don't think it's a terrible question. For me, personally. Oh, we can look at it from this side, too? There's blood all over the freaking tomb as well. Look at that. Their sarcophagus is surrounded by a curtain. I bet someone could have hidden behind it. True, but that's one of the many places the royal guard checked after storming in. Wow, they're really thorough. I mean, they looked just behind the curtain. Yes, well, apparently, one of the members loves mystery novels. He peered into every nook and cranny with an almost frightening amount of gusto. Oh, okay, so he had a passion for that. And when he was done, he said... Oh, the glasses come down. Very interesting. It's like one of those locked room mysteries. So even like some of the guards are into this too. Sounds like he's in the wrong line of work. Sounds like, yeah, he has a passion for that stuff. Oh, there's a butterfly on top here. I didn't really notice that completely. There's a chair over here. This chair is probably, I'm guessing it's for people visiting the tomb or something, right? Miss Faye was apparently oh my god, I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. Miss Faye was apparently, I thought it was like for guards or someone who visited the freaking tomb. Let's take a closer look. Is that rope on the ground? It is rope. We should try to cover every angle possible here. Okay, sure. I mean, I can do that. Oh, you really can change angles here. Let's check out the rope first of all. It's just like now even looking at the chair makes me feel nasty, you know what I mean? I hate looking at it, like knowing that Maya was like sitting propped up there. I bet you didn't know, but I happen to be a bit of an escape artist myself. Trucy showed me how to do her rope escape trick. Uh-huh. And why would you bother learning something like that? Because we're always getting into trouble when working with cases with Mr. Wright. I mean, honestly, like, we can laugh at Athena, but being prepared isn't a bad thing for especially stuff we've seen in this game. So I thought it might come in handy someday. I think you should praise her for this. Well, I guess you're right about that. Yes! I mean, yeah, Miss Faye could have used that knowledge, but again, most people don't think I'm gonna be tied up, and so they don't learn how to do this. Like, it's not, you shouldn't expect to be. But like Athena learning about this and how to get untied from getting captured, especially when we're in a line of work where we deal with a lot of very dangerous people sometimes, 100%. That's right, so now you just sit there and we'll get started. Wait, you want me to do it? What in the world gave me that idea? Gave me the idea I wanted to learn. I mean, good skill to have. But again, I love their sibling relationship. It's always like very like, it's pokey. Like they're poking at each other constantly, but it's always done in a very healthy, funny way. Poor Miss Faye. She must have been tied up to this chair. I can just imagine how her backside must have hurt after sitting here for so long. Would have been torture for you, I bet. I mean, you don't know how to sit still. Again, it's on top with the little pokes that they do at each other. If by that you mean I like to stay active, then I have to agree with you. There we go. Again, it's so simply coded with like Apollo being like, you can't sit still. Well, I actually stay active. You know? It's very sibling coded. So how do we turn around here? It seems very weird. Like I'm moving. Here we go. Sorry. Like, am I? It's very weird the way we maneuver. Oh, wait, with this, I guess? Oh, now I get it. Now I kind of get it. Oh, there's blood there. There's blood there in the bottom of the freaking chair. There's a bloodstain on the chair legs. Really? Hey, you're right. I completely missed that. Let's move the chair so we can check under it. Do you think that Maya used the chair while there was like, oh, maybe like there's someone hit someone with the chair? Like I'm thinking like Maya, like maybe when she came to, but then I guess she would have been untied already. Like maybe when Dirk came in, he untied her. There's more blood under the chair leg. I wonder what it's doing there. I have some luminol here. Why don't you go? Why don't you do some testing around it? So again, I think around here. Man, I can't understand the controls here. It's so weird to me. Like they give a tutorial, but like, is there blood on here? Oh, there's blood near the rope. Look. Oh, it's like a trail. I wonder why there's an actual trail. Oh, towards the tomb? Or towards the sarcophagus, I should say? Because we're in the tomb, aren't we? The bloodstain leads all the way to the sarcophagus. I wonder what that is. Emma, is this the Minister Inva's blood? Hold on 1 second. Huh? That's strange. I didn't get it. Oh, no. So it could be Dirk or Maya's? So then, whose blood is it? Dirk and Miss Faye. Oh, okay, so there's a random other person here that left their blood on the chair? Dirk and Miss Faye were wounded as far as we know, and the blood's been wiped up by someone for some reason. Yeah, that's strange too. Mysterious bloodstain added to the core record. Very strange. Is that all there is to do with this chair? So that means there was like a third person here in some way. We don't know what time of the day, but someone was bleeding here and someone was near this chair. And we know, if we know, oh wait, what? And if we know this chair was something that Maya was sitting in, then there being blood here towards the rope is pretty important. Honestly. There's a blood stain in the floor. It's already been mostly wiped up, but the stain leads all the way to the sarcophagus. Luckily, like they probably like in a rush didn't notice under the chair. Which I know if you've ever been in a rush and you're trying to like get something done, like that can generally be a thing that happens. I wonder whose blood it is. Is that everything? I think that could be everything here, right? Yeah, okay. There's the actual outline. Guess this is where Aiden collapsed when he died. Better take a closer look. There's a cell phone? I mean, that's what he's probably using to do his demands. There's a what are they called? They're ducks? What are they called? No, that's the 3 one, isn't it? A duck's foot is the 3 one. Maybe I'm thinking of a different weapon altogether. So the minister was armed, huh? That's a 4-shot pistol. He had it for self-defense, apparently. But it won't be firing anything anytime soon. Yeah, he's gone. Ditto. Huh? He was carrying a broken gun around for a show? Wait, no, it's broken? I thought you were saying that, like, he was dead. That's why he's not shooting. No, we recovered a bullet here, which means the gun probably broke as the minister fired his last round. Okay, so, like, maybe jammed up after that. Thing is, the gun's chambers are all empty. Yet that one bullet is the only bullet we could find. That's strange. Where did the other 3 go? Maybe Dirk ate them? I don't think so. Now, Dirk is pretty strong. I imagine he could chew up a bullet. We can ask the next time we see him. Just be ready for his predictably shocking answer. I mean, I appreciate Athena asking the weird questions, right? Because sometimes there's weird outcomes. So asking weird questions, I'm not opposed to it. And we get a little bit of a chuckle, and it's like fun, you know? They've already taken the body away. It's kind of sad how familiar I've become with the body outlines. Yeah. We become desensitized to it, right? I wouldn't say... Still, the dead bodies are always very shocking to see, but I feel like it's one of the situations where, like, we as Ace Attorney fans as well have gotten used to the idea of, like, dealing with that type of stuff as well. He was stabbed right in the back. The poor guy was practically skewered. What's he wearing on his arms? Those are his cuffs of justice. Cuffs of justice. Those like bracer things? Seems to be a tradition here for the Minister of Justice to wear those forearm cuffs. They look like they're made of a thick fabric, so I guess they aren't for protection. Maybe they're for keeping his sleeves out of the way when he's handling documents? Yeah, that's probably the original purpose. I mean, yeah, like, I can imagine that, like, when you're stamping 30 death warrants a day, I can imagine it would get in the way. But over the years, the reason for wearing them was probably forgotten. So now they're just one of the many traditional things that people do without knowing why. That is such a common thing around the world. We do a lot of things that are traditional stuff. And it's almost like, you know, like, I don't maybe think it's as much now, but like, it's like the thing where it's like, this may be a bad example, but you know the way there's like a morning news show every morning on certain channels? If you suggested like, hey, why don't we just not do morning news shows on channels and do morning shows on channels anymore? And then they go, we need morning shows. It's like, why? We just do. We don't, like, you know, there might not be a knowledge of like why originally morning shows were created. We know why they're probably created. It's to give people like company when they're waking up in the morning. It's a nice companion piece, and it makes people feel comfort in the morning. It's a lovely thing, right? But like, obviously, like, you know, a bad example, but you know what I mean? It's like stuff that we forget the reason why we do, but we just do it on autopilot anyway. Oh, I get it. Kind of like the way you roll up your sleeves, huh? Or your psychology, if we're going there. Again, the poking back and forth. I happen to know why I started, thank you very much. I believe in you, Athena. I think you're a great psychologist. Tomb crime photo added to the court record, and a great lawyer. But yeah, no, legitimately, like, the relationship means so much to me. That's why I said they're perfect to be together whenever they're doing investigations. Seeing them go back and forth is a really, really great thing. And having them, like, in smaller moments bicker with each other in a very fun way, and then having them do it in bigger moments is also just fantastic. You know, it's really great. That's what I was excited for, honestly. I wonder if this is Igna's cell phone. It should be. His fingerprints are all over it. Do you know if he talked with anyone recently? There were a few calls logged between him and his underlings. They're all members of the secret police who were directly under his minister's control. You mean like spies? I don't think that's quite it. Could be spies. We just tried to like adhere to every single theory that Athena has, you know, and we forever will. Is this the murder weapon? And did you find any prints on it? Yep, and they were super clear. They belonged to one Dirk Samedi. I mean, he was holding the knife. We saw it. We saw him legitimately holding the knife. That's not good. Were there any others? There was one more print from another individual, but it was too smudged to identify. So there's not only someone's secret blood here, there's also secret fingerprint we can't catch on to either. It's probably an old print from someone else who had handled the knife. Oh, yet another piece of unhelpful info to add to the ever-growing pile. So I think we have this down as well. So yeah, what this is pointing towards is like a secret person was here. There's some secret individual here at some point, and that's the secret blood and the secret fingerprint. There's someone else who was here at this point, you know? There's somebody else. Wow, it's covered in blood. That's the exact right face we should have when we see something covered in blood. With a blood spatter this large, it must have gotten over the killer too. Come to think of it. It was on Dirk as well. Yeah, it was all over his clothes. The circumstantial evidence points to Dirk being the killer. That's what I conclude if I were a crop top too. If I were a crop top too? Why did I... What's wrong with me? I know I'm into K-pop, but like, if I was a crop top too, if I were a cop too, like, what is wrong with me, guys? I'm just seeing what I want to see now. You know? I'm thinking Apollo, crop top. How beautiful would it be? That's what I conclude if I were a cop too. Why are things always so bleak for me? I mean, like, again, I do think it's a great aspect that they're showcasing that, like, they're showcasing Apollo here being like, you know, kind of a little bit like, woe was me. And it's not a bad thing to be, especially in this situation. It feels like over and over again, like, you know, Apollo gets some of the toughest and craziest trials, you know what I mean? And a lot of very personal things that are within these trials too. As we saw last in Dual Destinies, even trials he wasn't defending, even they're very personal as well. Trials back in Apollo Justice were extremely personal. I know Phoenix got personal trials as well, by the way. Like, again, Trials and Tribulations literally is the last trial is so personal to Phoenix because of Maya is there too. and all the story with pearls and everything, and the stuff with the Korean village. But like, what I'm saying is, like, I feel like Apollo personally has gone through the ringer. Like, Jesus Christ. Like this. And I said it to someone in the Patreon chats, but I really feel like Apollo was, as a character, like, the game already had so much depth, but I think they wanted to create a character that could go down into the depths of, like, despair and come crawling back out and be this, like, some incredible character on the other side. And they've done that with him through Dual Destinies even to now, but he still goes through so much, you know? Is this picture, like, Dirk and Amara? If you guys agree, definitely let me know. I think he was created obviously as a great character and a very charming character, very funny character. But I think also the creators of this game and the writers of this game knew that they were going to make this character go into the depths of despair and come back out one of the best characters in history. He's fantastic. A baby on a lotus blossom, that's a strange painting. Apparently that's part of the mural depicting the life and times of Queen Amara. You know, like a storyboard or something. Oh, okay. So that baby's supposed to be Amara? This one depicts Amara preaching to the faithful. Even the dog. It's hard to put into words, but I've never seen anything like it. Let's see, the next one is... Oh my god, is that Dirk? Why does he have horns? I mean, they're depicting him as, like, being evil. You know what I mean? This is propaganda 101. Like, they used to, like, in English newspapers, I don't know why I keep bringing it, again, I'm bringing up Irish history because I'm Irish, but, like, in English newspapers, they used to depict Irish people as, like apes sometimes, like, and as, like, little gremlin monsters, because we were, like, they wanted everyone to, like, keep the notion that we were just, like, these uneducated, brutal brutes, you know? Here, this keeps up the idea, if you ever visit this tomb, or if you ever see this tomb, I know, like, only some people are allowed to visit this tomb, but even, like, the people who are, like, coming up to the royal family, they know right away, Dirk is evil, you know? And again, the whole Crane is led to believe he's evil. My best guess is, it depicts the first time Amara and Dirk met. It's like, oh, he's, like, you know, seducing her, kind of being like, you know, join me, you know, like the devil. So he's supposed to be some kind of demon who's, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, who's seducing her. Well, he was successful since he got married after that. But I think it was love. I can't imagine Dirk treating Amara badly. He doesn't seem like the type at all. The mural continues to on the opposite wall. So now we can look to the other side. Well, maybe we should look on the broken statue first, and then we'll look at the other side of the wall. One of the statues is broken. Let's take a closer look. Is it hollow? There's a Matama. Or a Magatama. It's a Magatama. I think, did it come from the broken statue? There's also something shining on the ground. Look, Paul, there's another one. But their statues only have one each. Hey, you're right. Maybe the statue was special or something. There's also a bullet here. Oh my god, I didn't think to find this over here. Look, there's a bullet here. It's from the pistol the victim was carrying. My guess is he tried to shoot his attacker but missed and the bullet ended up here. We've already determined the rifling marks to be a match to his gun. Rifling marks? Aren't those... Oh, shall I explain? The science behind it is absolutely fascinating. Please, 100%. I think it indicates what gun it's from, right? No, we're good. I mean, I'd love to, like, learn exactly, because I've heard about this a million and one times, but I'd love to learn exactly. Lawyers think they're so smart. Emma, if you ever want to, like, do a side thing, will you explain it to me? I think it's just that, like, whatever, like, the rifling marks indicate what gun it came from. I think that's what it is. You do realize we can hear you. I mean, you know, I think the reason why Apollo's like, I don't want to learn is because he probably should, you know, he knows about rifling marks already, you know what I mean? 100%. This thing's more splinter than statue now. The bullet from the victim's gun did a real number on it. It seems like something you get a curse for, you know? In Minister Igna's case, I'd say you're getting your ticket punched is curse enough. Yeah, but don't curses extend into the afterlife? That's the thing. If anyone's getting cursed, Igna's getting cursed. You need to stop taking what Nayuta says so seriously. In Karain, we got it, man. Here's the thing, right? I totally get what Apollo's saying when he's saying, like, hey, don't take it so seriously. I've seen spirit channeling. I've seen Rafa, like, summon the vision of somebody's vision after death. We've talked to someone in this world after they've died. I know Apollo wasn't here for that, but for me personally, if you say there's demons, there's demons. If you say there's curses, there's curses. I'm perfectly capable of thinking for myself. Again, the bite back there as well. And you are 100% capable. 100%. There's something shiny down there. It was like a butterfly necklace of some kind? It's like a pendant? Oh, it's a pendant. Yeah, it's a pendant. There's blood in it. I wonder who it belongs to. All we know is that it's not the victims. No one in the royal family recognized it. Okay. Emma, did you lift any fingerprints from it? I did, but I wasn't able to get a clean one. Again, smudged fingerprints, right? That's too bad. But the blood turned out to be the victims. That means it must have fallen here in the course of the murder. It might be Dirk's. I should ask him about it later, so maybe he has a butterfly pendant for some reason? A pendant adorned in a pink butterfly. The fingerprints have yet to be analyzed, but the blood belongs to Igna. So for some reason, he had this butterfly pendant with him. Check out this as well before we move forward. Someone could have hid behind these curtains. Again, they said that the guard checked everywhere, right? I'll go give it a try. Sure, Athena, go on. This is the fun part of investigations though, right? Where like we get to do funny stuff, I guess, you know? But then again, I see the chair that and my blood starts boiling. Can you tell I'm hiding here? No, I can't tell at all. That's it. That's the perfect hiding place. We did it, Apollo. We solved the case. Did you say this from beyond the curtain? Sorry to burst your bubble, but the royal guard searched the tomb high and low after they stormed in. And they said no one else was here besides Minister Igna, Dirk, and Miss Faye. Well, back to the drawing board, I guess. Yeah, they said they searched top to bottom, but it was a fun scene. My brilliant deduction, destroyed in 3 sentences. Athena, it was a great deduction, and we got to have a little bit of brevity. You know what I mean? Levity, I should say. We got to have a bit of levity in this situation that is very, very sad and very, very horrible, and I always thank you for that. And again, Athena, like, what we all make deductions. We're going to make 52 deductions per trial. You're perfectly capable of making a deduction, even if it's wrong. It's helpful. You know what I mean? I'll make wrong deductions. Apollo's going to make wrong deductions. Don't worry about it whatsoever. We're all going to get stuff wrong in this trial. We will. You have to look at these statues as well. It's like a small army of monks all neatly lined up. It looks like they're facing the sarcophagus in prayer. If you look carefully, each one has a slightly different expression. I wonder if they use real people as models. Some are frowning, some are smiling. There's one that looks like he's trying the hardest not to burst out laughing. Oh yeah? Some personality in the statues. Really? I wonder why. Maybe it's like those times when the things are so intense, you can't help but laugh. Yes, 110%. I talked about this recently, like in other videos, that like it is so difficult not to laugh when you're not supposed to laugh. You know, like at funerals and stuff. Now at funerals, I find myself not being able to laugh, but I do know people that have nervous laughter even at funerals, and it's not their fault. They went through all the trouble of depicting that. Talk about going overboard. Attention to detail, right? Specifically, I remember a time when like my school had also like wine over here. Interesting. I remember my school went to a church, and we got a talk from a priest. Because again, I went to like a very Catholic school, and it was a public Catholic school. Because most schools, because I think in a lot of America, a lot of Catholic schools are like private, but like in Ireland, like the majority of schools are Catholic anyway. But I remember we went into this area and like I locked eyes with one of my friends once, and that was it. I was done for the day. I couldn't stop laughing. I had to hold my mouth as I tried to bite my lip because we kept looking at each other, and he wasn't laughing because he knew he was making me laugh. That's what he was doing. But yeah, it was one of those things where eventually the priest kind of noticed and was like, "Can you just like leave?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I think I was like 7 though, but it's a core memory. You know what I mean? It was a really, really core memory for me. This is the grape juice Ingrid was drinking. He was probably nervous for his meeting with Dirk. So he drank grape juice? I'm not seeing logic here. Mr. Wright told me all about it when he was hospitalized a few years ago. He said grape juice has something in it that helps you relax, does it? I didn't know that at all. Really? Are you sure he was talking about regular plain old grape juice? Was this when we kept visiting the hospital and when Phoenix was there? Remember when he was wearing his hat? That was a crazy time. Hat Phoenix is a crazy time. Because it sounds like he was talking about that fermented variety of wine. No, he couldn't have meant that. I mean, we're talking about a medical facility. They wouldn't have allowed something like that in. Didn't they just like randomly always like let this crazy doctor into the facility like randomly and they wouldn't even know for a while? Right, let's just leave it at that. I love how they both realize like, okay, look, we don't want to pry any further because we may not like the answer. We may not like the answer we give. So let's check out more of the mural. This is actually, like, again, I love doing investigations because they can be very cozy, right? Even if there's like a horrible feeling surrounding them, getting to explore with Athena is a joy. It's such a joy. It's the same thing we exploring with Trucy or exploring with Maya. Like there's nothing that beats the companionship of exploring a crime scene with a character in Ace Attorney. It's so great. It's so good. Is this supposed to be Amara channeling a spirit? It looks like a spirit of some country sultan or something. She seems to be conveying something to his retainers. She's on fire. This must be Amara's assassination allegedly carried out by Dirk. They really made him look evil. This is the weirdest of all. Yeah, he's like being like tortured. Is that supposed to be Dirk facing his punishment in the afterlife? The artwork's amazing, but anyway, I guess that's the last one. I guess we're supposed to see this as a happy ending. That's what's crazy. From our perspective, that's Dirk, who we know is actually a good dude, technically. Now, he has flaws. We talked about before, like the whole 10-year thing with his son is a big deal. But he's making amends, or he's trying to, right? And that's the thing. And it's up to Apollo for how he feels about that. 100%. It will support Apollo and whatever. But to us, that's horrifying. To the people of Crane, again, a different culture. And it's not just, again, it's not just Crane. There's other cultures that will, like let's be honest here, like the Catholicism constantly depicts people like burning and people getting punished. And it's supposed to be like a thing where it's like, well, you know, they deserved it. They shouldn't have done what they did, you know? Like, in Catholicism, we have kids confessing their sins at like 8 years old? Like, what does an 8-year-old have to confess? You know what I mean? Like what does an ordinary 8-year-old have to confess? I remember when I had to do it, I had to just come up with something, you know? Because I wasn't just going in being like, the other day I said to my mother that I didn't want to eat broccoli. You know, like, you're not, I was just like, I guess I punched my brother in the arm. And the priest's just like, yeah, go on, you know, because you're forced to make a confession. In Catholic, I don't know if they still do it, but like, I remember when I was younger, you're forced to make a confession at like 8 years old. And you practice it. You practice going up and like, you know, taking the bread and doing the confession and it's all this stuff. It's crazy. It's your communion, right? It's communion. You do a confession at your communion. But I was thinking about like, you know, my cousins who I adore greatly. And I look at them like this little 8-year-old boy and I'm like, what do you have to confess? So like, it's like while I'm judging the depiction of like this, and it is crazy and we should judge it because it's like, you know, it's horrible. At the same time too, it's like, organized religion can be like that. And again, I want to be clear as well, if you're someone who's religious, there's so many religious people I know, and Catholics that I know, and Christians that I know that I adore. Oh my God, because they really embody what the beautiful aspects of religion can be. But that doesn't change the fact for me personally, coming from an all Catholic school, a Catholic upbringing, Ireland, that I can also criticize organized religion, I think, fairly. I think it's fair, you know? Yeah, except nobody came out of this story happy. Amara died, technically, and not in the story. Well, Amara died in the fire, and Dirk is going to get punished in the afterlife, is what they're saying. Is there something else we're missing here? Probably, right? There's always something we're missing. It could be the chair, because I was having a hard time maneuvering that chair around. Oh, this as well? It's full of ash. My guess it would be this is an incense burner. Hey, look, Apollo. There's something in the ashes. Oh, the one we didn't look at. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's like a jewel of some kind? An emerald? Is that a gemstone? I wonder what it's doing here. Huh. I've got this one covered, Apollo. Would you like to hear my brilliant theory? Of course. Well, I guess it wouldn't do any harm. 100% it wouldn't. She's a great lawyer too. You know how people make wishes by throwing coins in a fountain, right? Well, you know, on second thought, I'm going, no, Athena. I understand what you were saying. It's like people putting like a coin in the fountain the same as putting a gemstone in the fire. It's okay. Like, it's like, that's not, you know, maybe she's thinking like, I think what Athena's thought process is like, she's going along with the culture. You know what I mean? She's like, maybe it's a cultural thing. What? Please don't ever interrupt Athena. Let her say it, even if the theory isn't true, just let her say it. You sure you don't need to hear my theory? Oh, Athena, I want to hear it. You're amazing. I love you. We're just about to get to the good part. She's just about to get to the good part, Apollo. Let's just ask Emma. That'll be much quicker. Athena. Excuse me, Emma. What's this gemstone doing here? Oh, that? Oh, it's one of his, it's one of his things that puts his suit together. It's not a gem, it's a button, albeit a very expensive one from the victim's jacket. So was he burning his jacket, maybe? Must have fallen off and gotten in there somehow. Well, just, yeah, because there's only one of them. See, every puzzle has an answer, Athena. Athena's theory, I think we should go with Athena's theory in court, regardless. I don't care. Well, I thought my idea was pretty good. It was great. It was great, Athena. Again, here's the thing. Athena, like, is so good at this stuff, right? It's part of her personality. She's a really great lawyer, as we've seen. She's actually, like, very good at what she does with the psychology stuff. Like, she's second to none with that stuff. But I love the part of her personality, too, is that she's a big dreamer. She's a big thinker. You know, she's always theorizing, like, and I think that comes from, like, you know, just being such a big personality. She's not someone who's, like, dumb in any way. She's so smart in, like, so many ways. And when it comes to her, like, investigation stuff, yeah, it might not always be the most perfect thing in the world, but what we do get from Athena here is, like, a liveliness and a big, like, perspective, like a beautiful, like, perspective. And even if she doesn't get some stuff right sometimes, it doesn't make her dumb at all. She's just, like, very, very, I don't know, what is this word, big-brained, or, like, very, like, optimistic, or very, like, she's a big dreamer. And I love that. I love that about her. Wait, what's with the soot here? See on the gemstone? Hey, you're right. So there was, like, it was some soot, which means that there's probably was, like, burnt, or they tried to burn it or something? Is that everything? It seems like it's everything. That was actually a long investigation, I suppose. I think we covered just about everything. Maybe we should go over what we learned so far. For starters, we're dealing with the locked room murder. But instead of the tomb being locked, it was being cordoned off by the royal guard. And after the murder, no one was found to be hiding inside. Right. In addition, we also know that Dirk's fingerprints are all over the murder weapon. The curtain around the sarcophagus was drenched in the victim's blood on one side. The blood must have also gotten on the killer when they stabbed the minister from behind. Dirk had blood on him when the crime was first discovered. He did. It's such an imposing image. Unfortunately, he doesn't remember what happened, which is a big deal. That's a big, massive aspect of this, I think. This is not good. Yeah, I love that Athena realized that at the same time Apollo did. I love that. She's like, and we're like, like, yeah, it doesn't sound good at all. So what we know so far is things couldn't be worse for our case. Exactly. And that's still an understatement somehow. Such perfect writing how they just, again, I know I just said it, but, like, I love that, like, when they realized it was really bad, they're both like, oh, at the same time. Like, they didn't even have to say anything. Yeah, it's looking pretty grim. Very grim. Oh, but we still have the extra blood, and we still have the other fingerprints, right? And we still have the idea that Apollo said someone could hide in the sarcophagus. We can hang on to that stuff. If you two are done here, I'll have to ask you to leave. Go on, scoot. She says scoot to us? Something wrong, Emma? Why are you trying to give us the boot? It's just easier if you're not here when His Imperial Holiness arrives. Oh, Nayuta? Huh? Oh, he's here. Man, speak of the devil, honestly, but, like, Nayuta's energy is different, right? Do you guys feel different? Because he always had, like, this very, like, intimidating presence. But, like, now it just feels like he's staring into my soul, you know? Prosecutor, maybe just because we had the conversation with him and Dirk, and it didn't work out, you know? So we know that he's not having those, like, strong feelings towards anyone. Or he's not having those feelings of love towards Dirk, at least on the surface. Detective Skye, it seems you've spoken at length with these two lawyers. I do hope you've also kept an eye on them. Oh my god. Again, he is such a, like, not commanding, it's more like, it's threatening in a non-dangerous way. Does that make sense? Where, like, you could say it feels threatening, but it's like, I don't think he's not going to hurt us, but it feels threatening. You know what I mean? Yes, of course, like a hawk. Didn't touch a single thing. Ha ha ha. Oh, Emma. Give a lawyer an inch, and they'll take a mile. Never forget that. And again, there's that rhetoric against lawyers, right? It's always there. There's a look of distrust again. Hey, Nayuta, do you really believe that Dirk's guilty? A great question to lob towards him. And are you seriously going to prosecute this case? I mean, he's your father. You were once part of the Defiant Dragons, weren't you? Hey, Nayuta, wait! I said wait! Come on, Athena, after him. Huh? Oh, right behind you. That is so interesting to me. To me, I know, like, again, we saw he was, like, quivering a bit. Remember when we were talking to him? And his hand was shaking when he was talking to Dirk for a moment. Right? Because what Dirk said, you'll always be part of the, you'll always have a home here. So, I know he's feeling a bit shaken by this. But what an interesting answer when we're lobbing all these questions towards him, all these questions. And he doesn't answer, and then he leaves. I wonder if he's trying to compose himself. Does he just want to not deal with it? So where are we going now? I'm guessing like to the royal residence is the next area near here, is where he'd be. Yeah, man, it's such, again, this is what I was talking about. There's so much personal stuff happening here and so much family stuff here. You know, it's everywhere. It's every part of this whole trial. May 18th, Grand Palace Royal Residence. Nayuta, would you stop already? And again, this game is so immersive because again, we fill in the blanks in our mind of what's happening in between, and I can imagine Apollo and Athena like speed walking after him. You know. What do you want? It's about Dirk. Would you please hear me out? I fail to see why I should. Now, if you'll excuse me. Hold it! Oh my god, we're saying hold it in the streets? Are you afraid of what I might have to say? This is so amazing. This is so incredible. Like, Apollo's so dedicated to getting through to Nayuta. But also, like, again, as you know, when we say we fill in the blanks, I can imagine Nayuta trying to walk away and Apollo just pulling him back, like, you know? I was just say, are you afraid of what, you know, like, and saying this. Like, it's so tough because, like, we know for a fact that Nayuta has, like, gone through something, a change, a metamorphosis. We know for a fact that, like, Apollo also, like, has gone through a change throughout the years as well, but he still has, like, you know, some spirit because he obviously was in a different place. He had a different regime over him, all this stuff as well, probably different influences. But legitimately, like, it's such a tough situation because you can feel for some reason Nayuta and this whole topic is something that he doesn't even want to look at. If not, then there's no harm in listening, right? Very well. Speak. But make it quick. There is much I must do. Why does everything have to be so difficult with you? He's a difficult person. But again, this is an amazing scene. An amazing scene showcasing the tension between Apollo and Nayuta and also the tension within Nayuta as well. Let's see. Prosecuting Dirk. So I know you'll be prosecuting Dirk's case, but aren't there any other prosecutors in this country? Why does it have to be you? Her Eminence, Queen Garan, personally requested that I serve as prosecutor. She did? That would make it hard to say no. I mean, 100%, 110%. Her Eminence thinks highly of my prosecutorial skills. Still, she shouldn't have to ask you to handle a case against your own father. Be honest. You really don't want to do this, do you? Ah. You speak of love and sentiment. I guess so. I do not deny such emotions. But the law is the law, and placing personal feelings above it is beyond reprieve. Do you disagree? Here's the thing. He's not wrong when he says that the law, that we as lawyers, we have to uphold the law regardless of our personal feelings. If it turned out that, like, Dirk killed someone back home in Los Angeles or in whatever, in America, where we come from, if he killed someone there and it was a completely innocent person, we would have to side with the law. We would. And what Nayuta's saying here is I will side with the law over my own personal feelings. So he's saying he does have personal feelings, but maybe he's like, you know, suppressing them in some way. But the way I also see it too is Apollo's probably trying to get through to him on a level of like, well, you can still express your feelings, right? Because while we'll always try to like uphold the law in the courtroom as the best possible we can, I'll also say as well that personally, like, if you told me to go up against like, to try and put Maya away in prison, it's not happening. Like, my personal feelings would take over. Like, again, I would choose Maya over the law. I'm just saying, personally. That's me. Well, no, I don't disagree, but civilizations only exist due to the confines of the law. Without them, love and sentiment would lack fertile soil they need to flourish. So what Nayuta's saying here is something that a lot of people say, which is like, because we have rules, then love is able to flourish because people have the time and the safety to do so, which isn't technically wrong. Like the idea that it's punishable by, you know, to go to prison for assault and all this stuff is a good thing that people get punished for that, right? That people can go to like that it is a. Now, you can say what you want about the punishments themselves, 110%, because like I think everyone has beliefs in that as well. But so I'm not just saying like prison's good, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying that like it's a good thing technically that people will get scared to do a crime sometimes because there could be consequences, right? That means that it leads to people feeling a little bit safer that like not everyone is going to try and hurt them all the time. You know what I mean? So they can actually like live and do their job and go to work and drive place to place. Now we know in the world now that like even with laws in place, people are still, even with people in power, are still abusing their powers. So like really it's like one of those things where the law doesn't protect everybody. It really doesn't. And like I was saying, it's one of those situations where, you know, how you see the law is obviously going to be your own interpretation. How the punishments are seen is your own interpretation as well. Because, you know, like as they've seen, like with statistically, like even like, you know, prisons are sometimes not, you know, seen to work even, you know, 100%. Do you disagree? No, but again, I love what Nayuta's doing here. Because, and again, I'm not saying I agree with Nayuta fully here. I'm saying that I'm saying that in terms of writing, having Nayuta push back and be like, is what I'm saying wrong? Because again, it's what people do who believe they are more logical than other people, is that they will try to go to the sense of logic before they go to emotion. And it's one of those things where like short bursts of questions to be like, well, do you think this? And it's like, yeah, I do. Then, okay. And it's like, yeah, but no, it's more complicated than that. You know what I mean? He's boiling it down to its basic terms, is what I'm saying. The law must be obeyed. This truth sits above all else, including personal feelings. I disagree with this line because Dirk technically went against the law when he became an insurgent, but that was morally justified. So I disagree with this idea. I think sometimes the law can be dumb. Throughout history, the law has been dumb. There's been laws in place that like meant that women couldn't vote until they're like 30 years old in Ireland. Again, we're going back to Ireland. That's a stupid law. It's dumb. They should be allowed to vote the same age as men, right? It's a dumb law. Therefore, whether or not I am the son of the accused is no consequence. Yeah, but what about the consequence of your heart, Nayuta? It is that simple. Would you say otherwise? I think you should let your emotions still take hold. But come on, Apollo, tell me how wrong he is. See, what Nayuta is doing, Athena, is that he's literally boiling everything down to the basic line of being a lawyer to Apollo. So it's harder for Apollo to go back and say you're wrong, when in reality, what we could say is it's complicated. It's way more complicated than what you're saying. But don't you wish it wasn't that way? This is such a good answer. Don't you wish we didn't have to do this? Don't you wish you didn't have to like prosecute Dirk for something he probably didn't do here and something he didn't do before for sure? Again, the pause. Oh, Athena's like feeling very awkward. It appears I've wasted my breath on you. And the winner is prosecutors. You think so? Still spewing empty words devoid of meaning or consequence, I see. The reason why I'm saying that, like, I think that, like, he technically, if you want to make it down to a competition, he technically won because he was very, again, he's always efficient with his answers. He boiled it down to the basics of the law. Which is hard if you're talking to a lawyer, for the lawyer to be like, well, no, because this is that, because then it's like, oh, then you don't believe in that aspect. But, again, it's hard sometimes, and you see this happening, like, I don't watch debates, but whenever I've seen a debate, like, you see sometimes, like the people who try to, like, tunnel you into one aspect, and he's good at this. They said at the start of the game, he tunnels you into one lane. They will always do that thing where it's like, well, don't you agree that this is this? And then you go, well, yeah. Well, okay, then do you agree this is this? Well, yeah. Then you agree that this is this. And it's like, well, no, I don't. It's way more complicated than that. And like then, but like again, now you're just very good at like drawing you into one tunnel. You putrid red pepper. That's your brother, buddy. That's your brother. I know I'm right. But did he have to be so eloquent about his point? That's a perfect way of Apollo saying this. We know we're not wrong in this situation, but he did it efficiently and to the letter of the law, and that's why it was difficult to push back on it. It's like he's trying to cover something up with his pretty words. I agree. I 100% agree. I'll cut back in the debates with him if I were you. Just stick to questions like the ones you wanted to ask. So who Dirk cares about? Yeah, great writing there with the Samedi situation. Again, I agree he's hiding everything with the stuff with the very efficient law stuff. And I agree Apollo was right in that situation, but it was harder to convey he was right because Samedi was very good at being efficient once again. Nayuta, I wanted to ask you about the hostage situation. Ignis said he had someone dear to him, dear to Dirk in the palm of his hand. And when I say when people, the debates I've seen with people using that idea, by the way, is that, before we get into this, because it's going to be a very serious answer for whatever this is. It's going to be very serious. So I want to put a pin in this. It's a tactic used sometimes to tunnel you into one lane and fluster you. But the way you counter that is by saying, we're not doing this, right? And you may look silly for a second because people are like, oh, you can't answer this question, but like legitimately, like it's better than having them tunnel you into one argument. And again, I was never on debate team. I don't watch debates. I used to see some like maybe shared on like Twitter sometimes, but like usually that's like one of the main things that they do is try to like, you know, tunnel you into one thing. And I think it's a debate tactic. I think it is. I think someone who was on a debate team can let me know 100%. Yeah. And he was using that person along with his hostage as leverage in obtaining Europe. I said this was Samedi. Do you think it was? That's news to me. He seems to not have known about that, but that's what Ignis said. You can kiss your chances of getting... Oh, so you can kiss the chances of getting the orb goodbye. My affair and my only, how I shall insurance, you know, Dirk. I think he meant Samedi. I think he was going to say I'd kill Samedi. Because you know Dirk would not let that happen. I got someone dear to you right in the palm of my hand, you see. Technically he did. He was working for him as well. Now that one, well, you can imagine what kind of things I could do, right? And technically they already took him away from the Defiant Dragons. Glad you're seeing things my way. I got the impression Dirk had no choice but to follow Ignis' demands after he heard that. So who do you suppose this special person is? I wouldn't know. It's you. It's totally you. Because Ignis had total control of the prosecutors, right? He already took you away from your father once. No way. My braces reacted. I never thought we'd have to do this on Nayuta. Hey Nayuta, about what you just said. Oh, here you're doing this? Ah, ouch! My braces crushing my wrist. Wait, he stopped us from using it? What the heck's going on? Did he actually stop us from using it? I'm wise to your tricks, you putrid pepper. He actually... Oh my god. That bracelet reacts to the anxieties of the people around you by squeezing your wrist. But now that I know how it works, I can make it tighten around your wrist anytime. That's the oh my god. That's the first time I've seen someone just stop it. He just literally went, no, I'm not doing it. Consider this a warning. I don't know how he did it, but this renders my bracelet useless. It's huge. That's one of our biggest ways of getting information, and Nayuta just destroyed it then and there. Such devilry is powerless in the face of the Holy Mother's blessing. He seems to like either truly believe this or he's been using this as a comfort blanket. Looks like your special power won't work against Prosecutor Samedi, Apollo. We'll have to try something else. You're right. We'll just have to ask Dirk about this. It appears... By the way, I had to change Nayuta's voice because it's too close to what Dirk's was, I guess. You intend to go through with the trial. You have no hope of winning. That's the Wright Anything Agency. That's the definition of the Wright Anything Agency. The thing is, though, this time it's like if Apollo loses, he's dead. You know, this is life or death. Grow up, Mr. Justice. We're no longer children, you and I. That's the first time he's referenced us as children. I'm not the one who needs to grow up. Apollo! In case you didn't hear, I won my last case against none other than Mr. Wright. Did you see him perk up there? You tell him, Apollo. And yeah, Athena, you beat Nayuta, so we also beat Nayuta, so we have like some experience here. Is he mad? I can never tell with him. That seemed to like really upset him. This trial is different. Your foolishness will only earn you a death sentence for aiding and abetting a criminal. And those who die as criminals are doomed to be reborn in the next life as something lower than a bug or a vegetable. You'll be lucky to return to this realm as a patch of mold. They truly believe this in Crane as well, right? Man, this is something about us mentioning we beat Phoenix. Like maybe it's because like I wonder if there's a thing with him where we went on to be like a lawyer in America and uphold the ideals of Dirk. And this is my theory. And we also are succeeding, we're becoming better, we're rising to the ranks, while Nayuta is under the thumb of Karain and is only a lawyer based on what Karain tells him to do. I wonder if there is something to that. Mold? That's pretty harsh. If you wish to reverse such fate, abandon this folly before it's too late. I don't care if it ends up with a dollop of blue cheese dressing my next life. Great line. I'm gonna defend Dirk in court. You fool. Know this. I intend to prosecute the accused with all my might, no matter what you say or do. Consider yourself forewarned. Now if you'll excuse me. Prosecutor Samani knows his father will be publicly executed if he's found guilty. Yet he won't even show an ounce of mercy. That's the thing, I think there's so much clouding him. I think as a character he is clouded to death. I think it's a combination of what we said where like I think he despises Apollo anyway, but like for different reasons, but I think he despises Apollo's success. I think seeing Apollo uphold the Dirk's ideals and the ideals of the Defiant Dragons like in America, because I think that if you look at Apollo, like he upholds the exact tenets of the Defiant Dragons, and even in the last part of the court there, you could see he never gave up. He's more of a Defiant Dragon, even though he wasn't even here, than Nayuta. But Nayuta left the Defiant Dragons and now is being as a puppet on the strings for Garan and for Igna. So it's really like one of those situations where that's probably why he's frustrated with Apollo. Why he's frustrated in general is probably because he knows that, and we saw that feeling he had towards Dirk, how his hand was shaking. He probably feels like he can't truly express how he feels right now because maybe there's some, again, it's easier sometimes to, put your head under the covers and hide than it is to confront the noise that you heard, and in this case, like we're saying, the covers are him covering him with the laws of Karain, while the noise he heard is the love that Dirk has for him, sometimes they can be scary. Nayuta, is this the real you? Have you really changed? Did you really plan on sending Dirk to his death? Apollo, like very frustrated again because he knew him as a kid. Do you even hear me? Oh, man. Don't Dirk and I matter to you anymore? See, this one talking about all the emotions in this, too. Because they were just little babies. Playing together up in the mountains. That has to be so hurtful to see what someone has become, right? Wait, we didn't go into the basement. Did we not have to go there? Did I just misread that? Wait, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something really quickly here. Okay, 1 second. There's probably another investigations day, but I just want to see something here. If you can get to the manhole here, because I thought we had to go to the manhole at some point. Oh no, you can't. You can't go there now. Maybe I misheard we can pause here with the lovely Athena anyway, and we'll do the next part in the next one. Guys, this was a really fun investigation because again, Athena and Apollo were so fun together, but it obviously was a very like horrible situation as well, because what we're starting to realize as we're doing this investigation is that it is one of the most damning cases we've ever done. It is Dirk was seen standing over Igna with a knife, with Igna's blood on him, Igna on the ground face first with a knife wound. And that's what was seen. His fingerprints are on the knife, all this stuff. Regardless of like what we believe, you cannot blame any court system for going, Jesus, it's him. You know what I mean? You can't. And that's one of the difficult things that we have about this, is that like Nayuta is right in saying that this is a hopeless case in a way, because we're going up against something that is bigger than all of us. This is, whatever this is, it's a conspiracy. Whatever it is, it's been planned. I think, you know, because you saw like with the blood on the chair and the blood on the rope and the smudged fingerprints, someone else was in that room. Someone else was there at some point. But we don't know. And we can't prove that someone else was there right now because we no match for blood and we no match for fingerprints. Which means it's going to be much harder to prove that it wasn't Dirk who did what he did. Maya was tied up for 6 days. F Igna, I don't care what happened to him. I really don't care. His fate was too good for Machi, in my opinion. But yeah, the investigation was really interesting because we got to see like a lot of the stuff, like how they perceive Amara. They built a tomb for her on the place that she died because they really respected her and loved her. And we saw like some of the customs with the ashes, and we found like some little tidbits here or there, like the broken statue, the bullet, the Magatama, the bloodstained stuff on the sarcophagus. The sarcophagus, you know, being cooled, but if you wore something, you could maybe like jump into there as well. You know, there's lots of stuff we saw there that like really gives an indication of like maybe like stuff we could have an opening with, but I'm not. I think the opening, like, I don't know if that sarcophagus thing was just a joke from Apollo, but that could be an opening too. But there are some openings. The big part of this whole thing after this is really fun. And again, I want to say as well, the investigation was so fun because Athena and Apollo were so fun together. Like, it's such a great combination of characters, them poking fun at each other, having a great time with each other. It's the same thing with the trial with the TV station. So fun, even though there's a terrifying situation going on. So fun having Athena and Apollo together. They're so good together. But yeah, the moments with Nayuta were fantastic. Him showing up here is why final trials in Ace Attorney games are legendary. They just are. And it's one of those things where like they understand so much that this is the lasting impression you're going to have of this game, is this final trial. When the credits hit and those emotions hit. Trials and Tribulations, Dual Destinies, all these games. I keep saying Trials and Tribulations because it's my favorite, the original 3. It's fantastic. It's so good. But those moments and those final moments of those final trials are huge. Emotionally. They take a toll on like the characters so much. They have so much going on. There's such a mystery and some like really terrifying things happening. But I really think it's one of those things where it's living up to its name. Living up to what it does, the final trials. And even like, in my opinion, in terms of like the emotions and the heaviness of it, in a lot of ways it's like surpassing some of them for sure. I don't think it really like, I don't think you can compare the heaviness sometimes of other trials. Like, I think, like, again, I use Trials and Tribulations all the time because the Trials and Tribulations ending is one of the most like taxing things emotionally, and like the Dual Destinies ending was like, you know, with the Apollo stuff is also really like emotionally jarring and really hard to get through. Like even like all of them have their own emotionally taxing things, but I think it's just like, you know, it's so incredible what they're doing here, and Nayuta is a perfect representation of that. Nayuta basically trying to hide his feelings by covering himself with the law. We know that he feels something still. He has to feel something still towards Apollo and Dirk. We saw him shake as soon as Dirk gave him an ounce of kindness. There's no doubt in my mind that he still feels something towards the both of us. There's no doubt in my mind. And it's really sad to see, obviously, and to say, because we saw the picture of the two of them as children. Apollo and Nayuta just played together. They used to hang out together, have a good time together. And that's what they did. And now, as they're older, they both went in different ways. And I do think there is something to my theory of the idea of Apollo went on to keep, even though he wasn't in the same country as Dirk, he upheld the Undivine Dragons more than Samedi did. He upheld the tenants. He defended people. He fought for people. That's what a Divine Dragon would do. So I think there is something to it that, like, you know, when he said, and maybe there's something different about the whole thing with Phoenix, but when we said, we beat Phoenix, he kind of changed his position. And my theory is that he was kind of like, oh, he went on and did amazing things. he went on such fantastic things. But I could be wrong. It could be something completely different. But even if that's not what his expression was about, I do think there is a part of that emotionally where it's like Apollo got to go on and live on through the Defiant Dragon's names, even unintentionally so, while Samadi did not. The whole scene where Apollo was like chasing after him, already Samadi not answering the questions is a big deal, because I think Samadi like is very efficient, but also I don't think he ever passes up the chance to put someone in their place. So that's why him running away first was like, you could tell he was running away from something emotionally. And when he then said to Apollo, you know, I'm, how do I say, I'm just upholding the law. And he was so efficient in his answers. As we said, what he said, like, you could, if you boil it down to its basic terms, right? As I said, in any type of like debate, if I come to you and I say, you know, let's say it's something silly, like we're debating like, you know, should ketchup be on a burger or something? And I go, do you like ketchup? It's like, yeah, I like ketchup. Do you like burgers? Yeah, I like burgers. Well, there you go. It's like, no. It's more complicated. But I know it's a bad example, but because in this case, it's way more serious. Because in this case, it's like upholding why you're a lawyer, you know, or why Nayuta sees he's loyal. But the thing is, the reason why Apollo had a struggle answering is because Nayuta's answers are so quick and efficient, and you can't generally deny what he's saying completely. Right? One of them I did say like, oh yeah, you could definitely poke holes in that completely, but all of the answers are actually more complicated. It's just that he tunneled Apollo into one road there. Because I think the difference in philosophies between Apollo and Samadi right now is Samadi, the law keeps him going with these trials, right? He upholds the law completely, and it's all about the law. Apollo upholds the law, but he does it to protect people. He does it to defend people. That's his vision of the law. It's not, I can use the law to protect people. Samadi believes that sending people away is a necessary thing to do within the law, while Apollo sees the law as just a way to protect people. He sees it that way. And I want to make it clear, we know for a fact in our modern times, the law does not always protect people. It does not, factually so. But I'm saying this is what Apollo feels. I can use the courtroom to protect people. It's not just about like upholding the ideals of the law. It's about, I don't want someone innocent going to jail. I don't want someone who I care about going to jail. I don't want someone I care about dying. And that's what he was appealing to somebody about. It's your dad. Don't you care about me? Don't you care about Dirk? And you can tell there, like, Nayuta is hiding something so emotionally away from Apollo, but he has a hard time expressing it. And I think it's because, again, as you said, it's easier to hide away sometimes. It is. And we've all done it in smaller doses, you know? Do you ever have an argument with your friend, and you know for a fact that, like, it's going to make it harder to argue with your friend or to make up with your friend if you leave it for months, right? But it's really easier sometimes to just like not see them, hide away, and pretend it doesn't exist. And in this case, it's easier for Nayuta to be like, I don't feel that. I don't feel that. Even when we tried to like use the bracelet on him, he tightened it because he doesn't want anyone knowing what he's truly feeling. He doesn't want anyone knowing his truthful feelings, because again, he probably sees it as a weakness. He probably sees it as not useful, and he probably feels in some ways like, I would say there's probably some guilt for leaving the Defiant Dragons. I see there's some feeling of himself of being let himself down. The fact that, you know, again, as I said, Apollo went on to do so much amazing things and he didn't in his line of work. Even though he's very well respected, I'm saying that in terms of like, Apollo is a Defiant Dragon, right? Even if he wasn't there in Crane. But yeah, that's my feelings on it. I think Nayuta is hiding something very deep down. But he's so puppeted and he's so ingrained in this that it's much harder to admit that he's feeling something than it is to just bury his face in his work. Because he knows right now, I can win this trial, and then he probably thinks that's going to make me feel better. When I win this trial, I'll feel better. Because that means I know I'm right. But we know, as we've seen many times in these court cases, being right doesn't always make anyone feel the best. You know what I mean? Winning a trial doesn't always cure everything. And after Dirk and Apollo are dead, Samadi's there, you know, having to deal with the fact that he put 2 innocent people away and killed. But again, he'll be trying to build it up on his mind of like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. How could I have done anything wrong? I upheld the law. He uses the law as a way to shield his emotions. That's the way I look at it. He uses the law as a shield.
Will you be joining us? Then it's settled.
But I really hope that we can get through to Nayuta. I really do. I really, really do. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for supporting this series, and thanks so much for supporting me. As I said last time, this has just been such a glorious time. As I said, we're taking our time going through this. If you want to see these videos early, this video came out on Wednesday last week. Every 2 weeks, the videos will come out very much early, if I can, right? I put them on, as soon as they're rendered and edited, I upload them. I just upload them. And this, what was I saying? And say like the episode you saw on Saturday. Well, yeah, this is the Monday episode and it came on Wednesday. That's actually pretty early. The Saturday episode came out on Tuesday. So like that happens every 2 weeks. We can do that. You know what I mean? We definitely can. But I love the series. I loved it so much. It was so freaking awesome. It was more than enjoyable, right? More than enjoyable. That sounds like the series is ending. I want to say thank you to my patrons at the highest tier. If you want to join the highest tier, you get your name read out in every single video. And I will say much love to you. Thank you to Tyfire2, Jamie Bull, Johnny the Banana, Ghost of Yuzuma, Felicius Felix, Yule, Anusta, Assassin, True Peanut Butter, Peter Shelson, Leon, High Casperian, Jared Beanham, Neo Sharite, and the highest tier on my YouTube, Rogan7, Blasco, and Lucinati. See you guys soon. Bye bye.